Hello. Before we start writing any essay, we need to understand the writing task we're answering. It's important to understand exactly what the task is asking us to write. Here's the writing task we'll be focusing on during this course. The first question we need to ask ourselves about any writing task is quite simple. How many parts are there in the task? Because there's usually more than one part. Let's look at our task more carefully. First, there is a statement, then a question, and finally, another question. So, as you can see, there are three separate parts in this writing task. Let's look more closely at the first part. This is a statement that gives us a context or some kind of background that we should use as the focus for the essay. In this statement, for example, the focus is on government or public education systems and private ones. And the focus is quite general. For example, we are not asked to write about only one specific country, but about education systems generally. In any writing task, it's important to read this kind of statement carefully and check the focus. Let's look more closely now at the second part of the task. In the second part, we have a question. What does this first question ask us to do? If we look at the key word differences, this tells us we need to contrast something, public and private education. First, we should write about the features of public education, and then the features of private education. Once we've done this, we can move to the third part of the task, which is another question. How should this part be answered? If we look carefully at this question, it says, "What can be done?" This is asking us to make suggestions. These suggestions should be ways that public education can be improved or made more equal to private education. So, to review, we need to ask ourselves a few questions before we even start to plan or write an essay. First, how many parts are there in the task? Then, what is the focus of the task? And finally, how does each question need to be answered? Now move to the practice stage, where you'll look at a few writing tasks and analyze them like we did in this video.